Hey YouTubers, Becky here, rolling with the Davises, ready to share our biggest Alaska adventure with y'all. Here you're going to see us leaving the Northern Moose Campground in Fox, Alaska. This was kind of our staging area to get ready to head north to Prudhoe Bay. Northern Moose Campground is a small campground, pretty tight to get our 64-foot rig in there. Dave did a really good job maneuvering through the little tight roads in there. We spent a couple nights here. Some of it was while we were adventuring in Fairbanks. And then we spent a night here getting our Jeep packed up, getting ready for our adventure on the Dalton Highway.
Continue on Alaska 2.
One of the unique things about Alaska is the way they refer to our highways. You heard the GPS say Alaska 2. Up here they call it the Elliot Highway. Us lower 48ers would have called it the 2. Even the milepost refers to all the roads by their name and not necessarily by their highway number. Just for point of reference, this is June 30th, 2025. We only traveled 5 miles before we made our first stop of the day. This is the Hilltop Restaurant and Fuel Stop, still here in Fox, Alaska. We had the Jeep and some extra cans full of gas, but we wanted to make sure the rig was full. We were only going as far as the Arctic Circle campground, which is 178 miles away. Didn't know how many nights we were going to spend there. There were no hookups, so we just wanted to be sure we had as much fuel as possible before we headed up the Dalton Highway, because there is nowhere to get fuel between Fox and the Arctic Circle.
Oh boy, here we go.
The drive along the Elliott Highway was very nice. The road's very decent. A few bumps along the way here and there, and then of course you've always got your road construction.
Interesting.
And about 70 miles after leaving our campground, we were officially on the James Dalton Highway. And the road surface almost immediately switched to gravel.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Hey everybody, I'm going to say that we've been up here for quite a few weeks now, but this just really feels like the Alaska adventure that we were looking for. We've done the Elliott Highway from Fox this morning, and it just feels so much more remote. The scenery is absolutely stunning. You're not seeing towns and villages and houses and businesses every few miles like you do everywhere else up here. You've seen the Alaska pipeline off in the distance, and that's pretty much it, other than trees.
Just not much. Well, from the time we got fuel, Living Good was the first real town that we came to.
And that's off the highway. We don't even really go through the town. Yeah, and the wildlife we've seen, ravens and dragonflies.
Yep. Officially on the Dalton Highway, the northernmost part of the leg of this journey. So
let's go see what we can find.
415 more miles to go.
We had seen glimpses of the Alaska pipeline in other areas of Alaska, but on the Dalton Highway, it gets to the point you almost see it continuously. It's pretty cool as it snakes across the tundra. Do some research and you'll see some of the points of interest that they talk about in the construction process. So our plan for this leg of the journey was to find a BLM campground along the Dalton Highway where we could leave our rig overnight, meaning we were going to leave the RV and the trailer behind and take Little Red, our Jeep, to Prudhoe Bay. We had two campgrounds picked out, the first of which was 5 Mile Campground, which you see is turning into here. We drove back to see if that was going to be suitable for us. According to the reviews, we didn't think this was the one we wanted to stop at, but we still wanted to check it out and not bypass it without at least taking a look. Come along, let me know what you think of this campground. There is water access here for the trucks that keep the Dalton Highway watered down, but there is no potable water for campers here at the dump station that is listed in some reviews and on the BLM website was closed when we were there in June of 2025.
Taking the right, maybe it's down this way.
Campground host?
They usually sign if they are. I don't believe it is.
We were hoping to leave the rig at a campground with a campground host. Some of the BLM campsites are supposed to have them. We stopped for a quick pit stop and then continue north. This is not what we had in mind for the ideal campground, to leave the rig behind. Also, when we come back south, we wanted to just spend a couple days, maybe do some fishing and some gold panning, and this just was not the area that we wanted to do that in. The Dalton Highway is here to support the oil fields at Prudhoe Bay. There's a lot of trucks on this road. A few days before we headed this direction, they actually had a washout, and it was amazing how they got it repaired within about a couple days to get these trucks rolling again. When you see a truck on the Dalton Highway, give right away. Dave nearly came to a stop every time just to let them have right away and also try to avoid any rocks they might be throwing.
Like vegetation getting ready to make a big change here now. It's already made a change.
At the 98.1 mile marker on the Dalton Highway, there is a wayside with pit toilets, and then just beyond it at the 98.3 is a pull-off. We opted for the pull-off because we weren't sure if our rig would fit in that wayside. The views are spectacular. There is a nice little hike through these rock formations, and there are also some signs talking about what you're seeing in these views, and also the wildlife that you might encounter while in this area of Alaska. This is the Finger Mountain BLM Wayside, and this is Finger Rock. There is a hiking trail out to that, but we did not do it. Just one lone grader operator out there fixing the Dalton Highway. There are some paved stretches of the Dalton Highway down south of the Arctic Circle, but in some ways we think they're worse than the gravel. There was some washboarding on the gravel. There are some big potholes in these paved sections.
Elliot and Dalton Highway,
Yeah?
Alaska, USA, on the right.
We have made it safely to the Arctic Circle.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Not a bad drive, a lot of gravel. We may have had, 10 miles of paved area out of the 100 and some miles up here.
Of the Dalton, yeah. 115 miles of the Dalton Highway.
Wasn't bad, a few rough spots, a little bit of washboard, but they're out here working on it, keeping it up. So.
There was some zigzagging around some potholes. Be honest, come on.
Yeah,
There was some potholes.
Dodge what you can dodge, ram what you can ram.
Yep,
so.
yep. Tell you, I knew we were coming to Alaska. We've known for a long time we were going to come up here, but never thought we'd get this far north.
Yep.
And we're going farther north tomorrow.
Yep.
So,
It's all on Little Red now. We're
Yep.
Camping here tonight. There's a BLM campground right here behind us at the Arctic Circle. So we'll get Little Red packed up, and we're going to take out of here early in the morning.
yeah.
There looks to be a BLM-owned camper sitting here at the campground. There's also a shed with electric fence around it. I don't know if that's where they store the trash or what that's there for, but it is bear protected. There also is no campground host here, just like at the other campground. We have a tendency to pick the first campsite that we can find to get into, and this one worked out really well for us. It was level, there was a fire ring, and a very nice picnic table. Be sure to watch our next video.
We're going to walk in the Arctic Ocean.
Okay,
Here we go.
Here we go.